Well, all right, everybody, welcome in as we get rocking and rolling here on another episode of Good Morning Huntsville. It is a thankful Thursday as we do kick off and start the lawnmower. Although if you have an electric lawnmower, it don't make any noise, but we'll pretend it's a gas-powered mower. So we are revving up the lawnmower this morning. We are ready to go here on episode number 607. As always, a big thank you to Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. Go see my good friend, Elliot Herzlich. But you got to set up the appointment online. He's over at the First National Bank 4th floor, and he's got a great selection of jewelry to get you out of the doghouse. And that kind of ties in what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, about animals. But we do want to welcome all of you in. And also a big thank you to First Baptist Church and Pastor Jason Bay. He'll be with us here in just a few moments. And I'm going to turn the camera on now in 3, 2, 1. There we go. We got a crowd today. We got a full house today. If we were playing poker, boy, we'd be winning some money big time today. But we are joined. We're just going to pass the baton today. Our good friend will start with Kelly Cruz. We're just going to dig right into her. And Kelly is here with us, all of them from RITA B HUFF. But Kelly, give us an update. How have you been doing, my friend?
Oh, doing great. Actually, since the last time I was here, I have gotten a new job. As a matter of fact, you prayed for me to get a new job, and pretty much the next week I got one.
Amen.
So,
well, that's the power of prayer.
Absolutely. It was wonderful. And so I have been working now for about 3.5 months and loving that, and always love serving my time on the RITA B HUFF board, and so blessed that we could be here to talk about this great event today with you. So thank you.
Well, we're just jumping around. You know, I never asked you this. I know a young lady named Casey Cruz. Are you related to her? She's over at the title company, one of the title companies here in town.
Is it spelled Crews?
That is, yeah.
Well,
there may be a relation there.
We may be related. Yes, we may. That's funny.
Well, Kelly, let's pass the microphone on down. Miss Jill Driscoll is also joining us. She is on the board with RITA B HUFF. Jill, good to have you this morning.
Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. Walker County and Huntsville. My name is Jill Driscoll. I'm pretty much grew up in Huntsville. My family has deep roots in Huntsville, Texas. We love it here. I'm excited to be a part of the RITA B HUFF Animal Shelter Board. It's a wonderful experience. They do great work there, and we just love these sweet animals and hope that you will also feel the same after you hear what we have to say.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Jill, thank you. And, brand new to Huntsville, just moved here last week. Yeah, right. Mr. Mac Woodward is joining. Mac, all of y'all have been here your whole lives, but Mac, we appreciate you and just think so much of you as well. Just let us know how you've been, Mr. Mac.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us here today.
You bet. Yes, sir.
We've been really excited about doing this. I grew up in Huntsville and been here all my life. My dad was on the original board of RITA B HUFF when it was founded and when it started and when they built the original shelter. And so I'm kind of carrying on his tradition like I really had no choice but had to do it. But anyway, I love Huntsville, love what we do here, and thank everybody for their support of our RITA B HUFF shelter.
Mac, I wanted to keep it with you just for a brief moment. You know, you have been so involved, just like Kelly and Jill here in Huntsville. You know, you've seen so many wonderful things in this community, and I always like to uplift. This show is all about just uplifting and encouraging folks. Huntsville truly is a wonderful place to be, and I've always wanted to ask you this question just because of your involvement and all the wonderful things that you've been able to be a part of. What has made Huntsville just a wonderful place for you, and what do you really enjoy most about our community?
You know, I think about that a lot, and I always ask myself, but I think the thing that is unique about Huntsville is the spirit of the people here. We're so the state and the TDCJ and all those entities, which are great for our community and such a stabilizing part of our community, do a wonderful job. But I think the spirit of the people here is what's so important. It's the volunteer spirit, and I always say, if you can't find what you want to do, start something, because you'll get somebody to follow you. And we've just got so many people and organizations in this community that do such good work. And I think we're an example for the state of Texas and for the country in in the amount of people give back to our community.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's what we all of us grew up with is, you know, you benefit from the community, you enjoy the community, but you give back. And I think that's what's really important.
Well, one thing, I know you're a very, very humble man, but I did want to thank you for all that you do, Mac, because without you and your family, that RITA B Huff wouldn't be sitting where it is today. And so thank you for your investment in Huntsville.
Well, you just everybody gives.
Yes, sir.
You know, everybody gives in their own way and contributes back to their community to make it a better place. So, no, I'm just one of thousands in this community that try to make it a better place.
We just had a lesson last night. I get to teach the kids K through 5 here on Wednesday night, and the big idea, every week we have a big idea, and the big idea was Jesus is humble. And when I think of that word humble, I think of so many people in this community. And humble, of course, means putting others before yourself. And all of three of y'all are just the epitome of that, of, you know what, let's keep each other, let's help each other out and give each other a boost. And that's why we see so many great things happening here in our community.
Well, look what you're doing today. I mean, this is vital to this community. You let people know what's going on and what's important to this community. So, you know, I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Mac. Well, we'll transition back over to Miss Jill. Jill, you've been here your whole life. This is neat because normally when I have folks on, I'll say, well, tell me about your journey to Huntsville. And all three of y'all told me before the show, said, we've all been here our whole life. So, Jill, maybe let us know just a little bit more about you and just kind of your involvement here in the community.
Well, actually was born in Corpus Christi, but my dad and his father and his grandfather were all from here. They were the Sandal family, and my husband was born here. So, yeah, our family tree is very limbless. But we are, I've just always loved Huntsville. As far as my service to the community, I haven't really been that involved in a lot of community service. The Animal Shelter Board was my first foray into that sort of thing. I am a court reporter. I work for Judge David Mormon at the Walker County Courthouse, and he's great. I want to put that out there. So I love my job. I've been doing it for 40 years, and I would not want to quit. I want to keep going as long as I can go because it's so much fun.
So that means you've only been doing it for about 2 years then, you know, because you started it. If you've been doing it 40, you've been doing it. You started at 2 years old. Is what it is.
Yeah, I was a prodigy. So yeah, I started very young, but they did take breaks for me to have potty training.
There you
go.
That's good.
But I am very blessed to be from this community. I do want to say, as just a public thank you, that my father passed away in June. That was Judge Jerry Sandal, that some of you know, I'm sure. He passed away, and I just want to say to the community, thank you, because I've never been more grateful to live in Huntsville in my life than when that happened, because this whole town rallied around me and my family. I've never felt more supported or loved, and it just made everything so much better.
Yeah.
Getting a little choked up.
No, that's all right.
Anyway, I just wanted to thank everyone in Huntsville for that support.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, Jill.
Yeah.
I know that's something incredible, and it does share the heart of this community. There are so many people. We'll give a chat again to Miss Kelly here. Kelly, you've been involved. You've been a friend of this community for a long time as well, and a friend of this program. It's always good to have. By the way, she's one of the trivia extraordinaires on Monday nights. I always hear about her trivia. How's all that been going, Kelly?
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun playing trivia on Monday nights with the Trivia Queens at Rodeo Mexican Grill on Monday nights, and that's where we actually got the idea for this event, was how much fun we have playing the games. And it's always amazing what you do know that you didn't think you knew. That makes us the happiest, because sometimes we get asked questions of, oh, well, there's no way we're going to know any of this stuff for this category, and we end up doing pretty well. So those girls run a great trivia game, and we're so lucky to have them running the game that we're going to have on October 25th. So it is my great avocation. I love playing trivia. It is a lot of fun. And we were happy to see you there a time or two, and we'd love to see you come back.
I need to get back. Well, see, Kelly knew this was my segue right into what you guys are here for today. RITA B Huff is putting on their own flavor of a trivia night. This is going to take place on October the 25th at 6 p.m. Kelly may have a leg up on some folks, with a lot of training behind her, so you're going to have to start studying now. But I'm looking forward. Tell us a little bit more about the event and how it's going to be such a tremendous blessing to RITA B Huff.
Well, our doors will open at 6 p.m. We're going to have some great food from wonderful restaurants all around the community. We have wonderful donations from Buffalo Wild Wings and Rodeo Mexican Grill and Carboneras and Jimmy John Sandwiches and the Huntsville Culinary Team. I'm so excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
They are going to come and get some credit service hours and give us some great food and help us serve, and so we're excited to have that young mix, the mix of young people coming in to help us with that. And so it's going to be a lot of heavy hors d'oeuvres and finger foods, and that you can get up and go and get more during the game, and that way you can still continue to play and have some food. There will be a lot of wonderful silent auctions around the room. We have some very exciting gifts and ideas that we'll probably get to in a minute, but we'll have about 4 rounds of trivia. Some of it will be very much animal related, so if you want to study ahead of time, maybe do you some Googling on animal trivia. It's going to be fun, and we have great fun games. The games are usually 8 questions each. You have 8 questions and then a bonus question each round that gives you a few more points. And there are different ways to earn extra credit during the games, and it's just a lot of fun. And we have a winner at the end of the night, but we have prizes for the winners of each round, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like, again, it's going to be Saturday, October the 25th. Tickets, $75, or you can purchase a table. And I know those tables are selling fast, but there's still some available. And so we want folks to, the main thing today, we're talking about if you're a business, maybe an organization, and you said, you know what, I want to sponsor a table. I want to get some people there. Maybe I need a little boost at the office. I need to get my employees a little boost, get a little competitive spirit going in them. This is a great way to do it. Get them to buy a table and come out and be a part. And if you can't get a whole table, buy an individual ticket or bring your spouse, buy a couple of tickets, and all the proceeds are going to benefit RITA B Huff. This is such a great event. So, well, Jill, maybe chime in a little bit, just kind of what you're looking forward to most about this night coming up.
Well, I look forward to seeing everyone and just having a great time. Trivia is fun. This is not going to be high science type stuff. This is going to be, you're going to know a lot of these answers, or someone on your team is going to know these answers. This is not anything to be afraid of. Some people shy away from trivia like, oh no, it's some kind of brainy situation. It's really not going to be that. It's about raising money for this shelter and having a great time. So that's what we plan to do. So we hope to see you all there. It's just fun to be together. It's fun to see other people and to have a team that you're playing with. Even if you don't know the other people and y'all want to form a team like at your workplace, bring a team from your work. Bring a team from your fraternity or sorority. We'd love to have as many different types of groups as possible. So just look and think about it, and please do it, because it's going to be a really fun evening and it's going to really benefit the shelter, and we appreciate it.
Mac, I wanted to chat with you just for a brief moment. You know, these events are so important to the shelter. We know that because the funding is needed. You know, maybe highlight a little bit just about the importance of how this works and how it benefits the shelter.
Well, I think it's an opportunity for people to come together and have a good time. But I think it's also a way for us, and we will take some time to thank this community for what they've done to support us for 40 years. And, you know, we serve this community, we serve Walker County, and that's our mission, is to, animal care is part of a health issue. It's a concern for the community. It's a quality of life issue, and we're very focused on that. So I think this event is have a good time. That's the number one thing, is come and enjoy yourself, and thank everyone for for their decades of support. And to let you, we want the people to know about our new shelter. We have a brand new shelter that is really a fantastic facility. And want to invite people, whether you come to this event or watch the program, to come and visit our shelter. Come see what it is, because it's part of your community.
Kelly had given me thank you, Matt. Kelly had given me a tour. She called me, and we had met at trivia. This is how we met. I don't get to go a lot because of our little ones. It's hard for us to be out after 5:30 at night, because they're usually, we pick them up around 5:30 or 6, and then usually try to get them in bed by 8 o'clock. And so it's hard to be out in the evenings. But I'm glad we went, because I believe that we don't ever cross paths with people just non-sequentially. We meet people for a reason, whether it's a simple passing or a greeting. There's several folks in this community that don't have a home. We do have a little bit of a homeless population here, like a lot of communities unfortunately do. And I became friends with several of the folks. And one of them I've developed a really good friendship with. And he doesn't ask for anything. He's just trying to figure out a way to get by. And we've developed a friendship. I was at the McDonald's parking lot one day, and I just felt the Holy Spirit prompted me to go talk to this man. And to be honest, I didn't. I started to drive off, and I felt this impression stronger than I've ever felt that said, you better put that car back and drive it right back in that parking spot and go talk to him. And because I took that little moment, he and I have developed a friendship now, and I've got to know him a little bit more. So cool. And I don't say this to put myself up on a pedestal. I say it to encourage others that if you feel a prompting or you pass somebody, you never know what that's going to lead to. And just like Kelly and I, I've always wanted to get to know a little bit more about RITA B HUFF and the shelter. And, at the right time, we go and Kelly and I meet each other, and then that created a connection to RITA B HUFF. And it's something that I've always had a heart for as a dog lover. We just had to put down our Golden a few weeks ago, and we miss him. But, it's and Bridget was saying we need to go to the shelter and start looking for another pup soon.
We have a few.
But yeah, got a few. But I mention all this for a reason, because if it wasn't for me and Kelly connecting, you never know what's going to happen. And so thank you, Kelly, for just being that person that reaches out. You reached out to me, and here we are today. I wanted to highlight briefly just a little bit more about the shelter. You gave me that tour. It is an unbelievably beautiful shelter. I know y'all are extremely proud of it.
We are so happy with it, but we truly know how blessed we are. That shelter would not have been built without the beautiful, wonderful contributions and donations from this community. We are 100% donation funded. We get no state funds. We get there's no taxes that support us. That's just not who we are. We are a 100% donation based organization. So the fact that we have that gorgeous property on Veterans Memorial, and that we have that beautiful building, 2 buildings, because we have a kennel building and an administration building, and beautiful artwork on the walls, and beautiful. It's so bright and shiny every time you walk by. We have a gigantic HVAC system that recirculates the air every 10 minutes, and so it doesn't smell. That old shelter, bless their hearts, I don't know how they worked in it or how the animals lived there, because it really smelled bad, bless their hearts. But this one is just, we're doing great. And again, we're just so blessed. And so, as Max said, we definitely want to thank the community for the work that you've already done, and have a good time and just celebrate what we do have here in this community.
Well, there is a lot to be thankful for. And again, we want you to come out, buy tickets. Kelly, where can folks get more information? I know we showed the flyer. I'll show it again here on the screen for those that are interested. But how can they get tickets? I know there's a phone number on there, right? That's where they can go?
Absolutely. You can buy your tickets at the shelter, and I would try and have an easier way to do that, but you'll want to use a credit card to buy them, and I don't have a credit card machine at my home, so you call the shelter, and the number is on the flyer there. It is 936-295-4666. Is that correct?
That's it.
And
your vision's better than mine. I was squinting to see that.
I was remembering it. I couldn't see it. And that you can always get information there. If you'd like to email with more questions, or perhaps you've got a silent auction item that you'd like to donate for us to use, we would love that. You can always call the same number at the shelter and let them know, or you can email me. My email address is KA CREWS and the number 2 at gmail.com. And we can probably have that put up at some point. And I will be able to answer any questions that you have, or if you know any board members, just ask them. We all know what's going on, so it's great, and we're so happy to be having this event.
Well, I want to encourage folks, too. We got someone from Montgomery County watching this morning, and they said, good morning from Montgomery, Texas.
Hello.
That's the place of Ransom Steakhouse. I know we got good food here in Huntsville, and we got great places like Humphreys and 1836, and, everybody talks about Leona's, but I'm going to tell you, there's another hidden gem. If you don't know about it, go to Ransom's and get you the best steak. Boy, it's good.
I've never been there. I will put it on my list.
So I mentioned that to give a shout-out to our friends there. This looks like a business, Chapel Solar Cleaning. You know what? Y'all bring your crew, buy a table, even if you're outside of Walker County. Come and be a part and come support our county, and eventually we'll find ways to give back to y'all as well. So come and be a part of what's happening here in Walker County. Real briefly, before we go, Jill, maybe any final comments or questions or anything you'd like to address or say?
I don't really have anything else to say, but I do want to encourage everyone to go by and visit the shelter, as Max suggested. We have what to me is one of the most fun things in the shelter is the cat room, where you can just stand out in the hallway and watch the cats. Well, you can go inside, but it's big plate glass windows, and you can watch the cats play with each other and hide in their little nooks and crannies, and they're adorable. They're so cute. And then, of course, our kennel building's full of just beautiful faces, kind, sweet little eyes that you just want to kiss them all. They're precious. So please take an opportunity to come out on October 25th for our fundraiser, but also to go by the shelter and see the beautiful animals and the beautiful facility that we have. And thank you.
Yeah. Mac, I know you've said a lot, but I'd like for you to maybe have some final comments as well, my friend.
Just real quick, I want to again thank the community for their support for all these years. The other thing that I was going to mention, we do have volunteer opportunities. And if you're so moved or so enjoy doing that, come by the shelter and, we can walk a dog or play with a dog or a cat. And so, we certainly would love to have volunteers in the community if they'd like to come by and just have a good time. So anyway, thank you.
You bet. Well, thank y'all so much for being here. Kelly, we appreciate you so much. Kelly is, all of y'all are wonderful. Kelly's just always been a spark as well. And I just love the passion. And I've always said this, that if you are not passionate about an area that you're serving in or that you're working in, change direction, because your passion will flow through what you do. And Kelly and both of y'all are such great, passionate people about what you do. And Kelly, that shines through. You are so passionate about what you do for the shelter, and it's an inspiration to others to say, you know what, maybe I need to get involved. I want to find the joy that lady has, so maybe I need to come serve and help at the RITA B HUFF.
I was in a service fraternity when I was in college, and we always knew that if you were mad at somebody, if you had a friend that you were in a fight with, go work service alongside them. There is no way that you can still be angry if you're working service, if you are doing good for other people, for your community, for your friends. And I feel very blessed to get to do a lot of wonderful projects with my very good friends, including my very best friend, Jill Driscoll. And I think that is the way to live your life. And you are such a shining example of that yourself, that you put so much good back out into Huntsville and the community. And we are just very blessed to have you and your wonderful this TV show and your radio station that's coming and all of that. And we're very blessed to have you. So thank you so much for having us today.
I have the easy job. I just sit back and talk about it. Y'all are doing the work, so thank y'all very much. Well, again, it's RITA B HUFF, our good friends Jill and Mac Woodward alongside Kelly Cruz. We want you to come out, be a part of this. Again, it is taking place on October the 25th at 6 p.m. You can get those tickets. Go by the shelter. Trivia night. Going to be a wonderful time. And just like the Chapel Solar Cleaning, see, we're giving them a shout out. So that's sparking y'all to buy the table. Yeah. Buy the table and come and bring your employees and be a part of this coming up. Thank y'all again very much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to step aside. We'll take a break. Pastor Jason Bay joins us on the other side as we continue promoting and celebrating the good here in Huntsville. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be right back after this. friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
This harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Hey friends, this is Rob Hipp, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world. Let me introduce you to my good friend, Terry Coleman of the Coleman Realty Group.
With 33 years in the business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, farm or ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
Imagine a voice of hope reaching every corner of Huntsville, from homes and hospitals to prison walls. That's the heart of Spirit Radio. We're a truly local 501c3 nonprofit, and we're raising $25,000 to build our tower and get on the air. With your help, we'll broadcast encouragement, truth, and the love of Christ across our community and across the world through the Spirit Radio FM app. Visit spiritradio.fm and give today. Let's bring light to Huntsville and beyond together.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
back at it as we continue to rock and roll here. None other. We should have that intro music because now it's time, not for the news you can use, but for JB. Welcome in, Pastor. Good to see you, man.
It's good to be here.
Always
brother.
good. You know what, brother? I just want to say something. I appreciate being here on a Thursday, especially because, you know, we all have things that we deal with. And I told you I feel like I'm a complainer a lot of times, but there's a lot going on in everyone's life, not mine, but everybody. And, you know, Thursdays for me, I always love being here on Thursday because there's always something that you'll say and other people, and it's just, man, it's a day that lifts. That's why we call it a Thankful Thursday. It reminds us to be thankful for so many things, and we can look and dwell on everything that's happening that we don't want to happen, or we can choose to look at the good things. And it reminds me every Thursday to, you know what, to take a moment, to pause, to back up and say, I am blessed, I'm prosperous, I'm saved by grace, instead of saying, man, I'm defeated, I can't do this or I can't do that. And that's the message that I want to get across to our audience. And, you know, every Sunday I feel like when I do announcements, I mention that because I know people are broken when they come in to church. But I just want to thank you for being a brother in Christ, man, because it really is a great day to lift people up and to remind them of what's important.
Well, that's what we're here for. You know, we're not meant to do life alone. We're meant to do life together, and we need brothers and sisters in Christ to help lift us up and be there for one another. A lot of times we depend on our spouse for that. You know, many times we depend on our spouse for that, but you really need someone outside of just your spouse that you can call or, you know, find someone to help you when you're down and just encourage you. And that's what we're here for, absolutely, as a church, as we do small groups and do life together, is to encourage and lift one another up because everybody's going through something. Just remember that. When you're out and about and you get short-tempered, or we all get short-tempered, or you're driving down the highway and someone ahead of you is going too slow for your taste, we all need to remember that everybody is going through something.
I remember, this is funny, I'm sitting here, like that's not funny that people are going through something, but I was in an internship program. Boy, we had this firecracker of a youth minister back in the day, and he started and he was a good dude. You know, some unfortunate things happen, you know, and we pray for him. He's a great man, young man, but he was very passionate about what he did, and he was an awesome youth minister. And you know, sometimes life gets in the way. And this wasn't here, by the way. This was way back in Georgetown, but this was years ago. And they started an internship program. It's a great program, by the way. A generous family had donated a piece of property with 2 houses on it, and they used that as the intern camp, if you will. And it was a really awesome program that my old church had started. And I joined that internship in my 20s and learned a lot and grew tremendously through a lot of that. But I'll never forget, and it was 35 miles away. So we would stay there. The requirement was we had to stay there. So they had, you know, of course the girls, they kept us separate. They had really nice house. They joked around and called it the mansion.
Yeah.
The other house was an old beat up trailer. And that's the one that the guys were in.
Right.
And we had bunk beds. And when you got a guy with the last name of Bro, Ross, and this was his name, and Ross will laugh at this if he ever hears this, Ross Sterling Bro, that was his name.
Yeah.
Ross snored like none other, and it was the first time I ever had to buy earplugs when I tried to go to sleep. But I'll never forget, there was a class, and I was thinking this because you talked about, like, you know, sometimes we lose our temper. Well, one time the old boy running that program lost his temper. And one of the interns had started to fall asleep in the class. Now, full disclosure, he was not an abusive person, okay? Because you hear about some of these bad things, right?
Absolutely.
So this young man had started to fall asleep, and whatever book that our intern teacher had, he took that thing and threw it, and it spiraled, hit him in the head, and the guy jumps up, and he goes, people's lives are at stake, and you're sleeping? He goes, get out of here. And we all were like, whoa. And it took it like to a whole nother level of
right.
I was like, should I be in this thing anymore?
Military.
Yeah, man, it was like boot camp. But it really wasn't like that. But there was something that day that he was so passionate about.
Right.
And in a way I can understand, because you don't want to be sleeping through something like that. And I'll never, when you said with the temper, I can vividly remember, because I was sitting near the back row on the left, These were in those portable buildings. We used to have those at our old church. They were the classrooms. I was sitting in the back left. This young man was sitting two rows from the very far right against the wall. And I remember he was like this. And, man, you could hear him snoring. And all of a sudden, this guy's sitting here and he's teaching, and then he looks over and he hears him and sees him, and his whole demeanor changed. And he takes this book. It wasn't the Bible. It was some other book. He took that, Jason. He goes, whoosh. And I mean, he was like, whoop, 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 whoop. And man, the binding goes, boom. And that dude, what? So anyways, I just thought of that. So thank you. I need that good laugh this morning.
Passion.
A little too much passion, I think, in that moment.
No.
Needless to say, that young man stayed with the program, ended up being one of the best graduates.
That's awesome.
Isn't that how it always works?
I love that, though. That training is so crucial.
So did you ever have anything like that with professors in college, like one of them popping and like, come on, Bay?
Well, no, but I can tell you, like, everybody, it goes through times, where we're not at our best, and I'm no exception. Yesterday we were every Wednesday we go pick up the kids, and usually I'm driving the bus. Well, last week was my last week driving the bus, so I had kind of planned out. Actually, yesterday I was going to take off and go spend some time with Lily because haven't got a chance to spend a lot of time with her and one-on-one. So I was going to do that, and then, but our guy that usually drives, he forgot he had an appointment that he had to go to, so he went to it, and so it was like already time to pick up the kids, and the bus is sitting out in the parking lot. I'm thinking, okay, who's picking up the kids? Nobody, obviously, because the bus is there. So I run out, I get in the bus. Josh comes with me. He jumps in the bus. We go down, and I know they probably thought, but I'm thinking in my head, there's kids sitting at the school, and they get really irritated if we don't pick them up on time because they have to stay with them, and it's
and
not.
They've already been there all day.
They've already been there all day, and it's a variety of kids. It's not just one grade. It's like kindergarten all the way through senior high. All those grades. So it was already, and they get out at 3:50, and it was already like 3:30 when we were just leaving here. So I'm flying down, and I know that Josh and Pedro was really, they're just like this.
They're bus surfing, man.
Exactly, no question. I was flying down 1791, and I usually don't go down 1791. I usually go to Richards. I usually go all the way down Highway 30 and then cut across. But it's longer that way. It takes about 5 minutes longer, but it's straighter and the roads are better.
You don't take that. There's not that gravel road, is there?
No. This is down all the way down 1791. I usually don't go that way.
Okay.
But I thought, well, I can cut 5 minutes off my time if I cut through there. So I cut down. Now, mind you, this is like a 50-passenger bus.
CDL required.
Exactly. I'm going down there, and lo and behold, you know how curvy that road is? It's up and down, around and around. I get behind this person, and they're literally going 45 miles an hour. And, speed limit 65. And I'm thinking, if I go 75, I can make it there and be 10 minutes late.
And I've been with you, so I know in your mind – see this? I admired this being with your pastor because you always wonder how would the pastor act in this situation. I was with Jason one time. There was a car in front of us, and he goes, "What are you waiting on, Moses, to part the Red Sea?"
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh please, turn off here. This has got to be your driveway. Surely this is your road. You're going to turn. And I'm driving, and there's just one chance to pass. I'm thinking, should I pass? And then I think, yeah, I'm passing. And so I get over there, I push the thing to the floor, and I'm going past this car.
And this big bus.
I'm praying that I look over, and it's somebody that has one of those handicap placards. So I figured it was an older person. I pass by, I'm thinking, I hope they can't read the sign on the back of this bus.
Hey, but it doesn't say Huntsville, Texas, though. See, that's good.
Yeah, it could be Huntsville, Alabama. But nevertheless, I got around him, got back over, and I know Josh was thinking to himself, I'm never riding this bus.
He's holding on to the pole in there. Oh, that's
we
great.
made it there and we made it back. That's all that counts.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, man.
Nobody called the cops on us on a runaway bus. We were like remember that movie where they had to keep the bus above
Speed or whatever it was?
Speed.
Yeah.
We were like that. We were just
Don't let it go below 55.
Oh, believe me, we weren't below 55.
Man, I was actually talking because I saw you. I had left to go get something to eat late, and I saw you driving the bus. I said, "What's Jason doing driving the bus?" And I saw, and you were ready to roll.
Oh man, we were cruising. Ask Josh about it. I know him and Pedro probably talked about that for like after he's never again riding this bus. We hit this one bump, and the bus was just going like that.
We had an old bus driver that would, his name was Jonathan Ritchie. And here's a funny story. Jonathan Ritchie is now the worship leader at my old church in Georgetown, Main Street Baptist. But back in the day, Jonathan Ritchie was a wild one. Mm-hmm. And we loved when Jonathan drove the bus because he wasn't that much older than the kids. I mean, he was one of these, like, if you're in junior high and you got a guy that's like 23 driving the bus, that's cool, right? He was a young, cool, hip guy. Yeah. And when Jonathan would drive the bus, there was these bumps on this road in Georgetown. We lived up on what's called Rabbit Hill, and there was a lot of rabbits. It's kind of funny. And there was a part where you'd go up and then you'd come back down, and there were some big bumps. Yeah. Now, when Mr. Littlejohn drove the bus, and he'd always have a whistle, and he'd blow that whistle to get us quiet. He was the best bus driver. In fact, as I got older, I still stayed in communication with him. I would write him letters, and he would write me letters. And he and his wife, every Halloween, his wife would dress up as an M&M and give us candy when we got off the bus. And when he was driving the bus, the newspaper back in the day, I don't think they do this anymore. They need to start doing this again to recognize kids. They would put the A honor roll in the newspaper. Whoever made the A honor roll, he would go through that and he would highlight all the kids and he would bring us McDonald's gift certificates.
Oh, cool.
Out of the kindness of his heart. And to use them. Now, my dad didn't like going to McDonald's, so we never did use them. But they never expired. So when I got into high school, I had like 50 of them things, man.
Great.
But anyways, Jonathan Ritchie, when Mr. Littlejohn was out, Jonathan Ritchie would be the sub. And, man, we loved when Jonathan Ritchie drove that bus because we would say, "Come on, Jonathan, hit that bump." And it was like 45. He'd get that thing up to about 70 on this road.
Yeah.
And then we would sit in the back, and the trick was you would hold on, and you'd start going like this. You would bounce.
Yeah.
And if you hit it just right, that seat would pop you, and you'd go up. And man, and he'd laugh. He'd be like, "Did y'all's heads hit?" And we'd sit there and laugh. And this was a big old yellow dog, man.
Yeah.
I called it the Big Yellow Loser Cruiser. I rode that thing till I was in 12th grade, man.
Yeah, I know that back seat on those buses, you can get some air on that back seat when you hit that bump right. And sometimes it's not because you want to either. So I always warn people that don't to watch that back seat because you will get some air on that back seat.
What?
But I learned something about the bus yesterday. It has a governor on it at 75, just in case you want to know.
You're like, come on. You're looking for the flathead screwdriver to where you turn the screw back a little bit, to let a little more gas in there.
Just to be fair, I did not break any traffic laws with the kids on the bus. Once we got there, I was just worried about the kids being there and there, with limited supervision. But we got there, everything turned out right. Okay, we brought them to the church, and
all is well.
All is well. And the guy that wasn't able to drive, he was so apologetic. I said, "No, don't worry about it. It's a big deal, and we got it done." And we'll move on.
Move on, yeah. One last thing, so we can move on. Mm-hmm. I shared the story a few months ago, Dodie Osteen passing away, and her funeral, I watched it. I wanted to be down there, but wasn't able to, and her funeral was so joyful. When you live a life for the Lord, that's a celebration, especially at 91 years old. My grandmother, her life, of course, we hated to lose her, but it was a celebration. Mm-hmm. There's so much joy in knowing that when you're a believer that we get to see those people again one day, and there's joy in those services. And there was a lot of joy in Miss Osteen's service. And they shared a story. One of her grandsons that I'd never seen before, he got up and started talking about Grandma. He called her Grandma, and he said, there's a lot of things about Grandma, and one thing is she's always so sweet to everybody, but you'd go. She never had any snacks in her house. She had granola bars from 1990 and old grape juice in her pantry. So we never really ate snacks at Grandma's. But he goes, but one of the funniest things, he goes, in fact, it was just a couple of years ago. You know, she's almost 90 years old, and he goes, I don't know if I should be saying this about Grandma, but I'm going to say it because she'll laugh about it. And he said, I was riding with her one time, and she got behind this slow car, and she realized it was an older lady. And here my grandma is at 89 years old, and she's telling this lady, I wish that old lady would hurry up.
Yeah.
So it was a funny story.
Don't lose your patience with people driving slow or buses passing you.
Yeah, long buses. And
because everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
I was yesterday.
And if it says First Baptist Church, it could be any First Baptist Church of any town in America.
Yeah. Apologies to the lady on 1791 yesterday.
She's watching too. So, anyways, welcome in Jason Bay. Good start to the segment here with Pastor Bay on a Thankful Thursday. So great to have Mac Woodward and Jill Driscoll, Kelly Cruz from RITA B HUFF. You know, it's a great organization, and folks like Mac, and I know Kelly and Jill as well, they just give so much back to Huntsville.
Yeah, they really do. I've known them for quite some time, and just their passion for the Humane Society there, and just what they RITA B HUFF and what they do in the community is so great. And I know you and I both are pet lovers, and they are as well. And whenever I was in high school, believe it or not, you know, I went to Huntsville High School here. And when I was in high school, I was part of an organization that actually volunteered over there at the RITA B HUFF, at the old place. And we would go in there and help clean up areas that needed to be cleaned up, the dog runs and different things. And then we also would just spend time with the animals and, you know, pet them and with the cats and different things. So I've known about that organization for a long time, and I've always loved being around animals, and I know that's a very, very important ministry that they provide to our community. So definitely support them and go out and adopt a pet.
Well, it kind of ties into our theme for the kids last night, and it's a really important theme. You know, the big idea this last Wednesday night, just yesterday, for all the kids was Jesus is humble. And, man, I love that you've allowed me to come in and kind of relieve you for a few weeks teaching the kids, because I'll be honest, at first I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be good at this, because I really have always felt like I don't connect really well with people younger than me. I've always had friends that were older than me growing up, and I guess my business mindset, I was always hanging out with older people. And so for me, I remember years ago someone, you ought to be a youth minister. I said, man, I don't know if I'd be able to. I don't understand the slang and the lingo, and I was always the kid in high school that never hung out with his own classmates. I go hang out with the nerds, Miss McKenna. Yeah. But one thing that I've learned, and I don't mean that in a negative way, it's just different people are wired differently. Right. And for me, having children, I have developed a connection to understand a little bit more about younger kids and kind of what makes them tick and how to keep them going. And you've taught me a lot too, obviously, being a parent with children. You've taught me a lot that you've got to keep them going. You have to change things because the attention span is so short. Mm-hmm. And I really, I did not want to do it. I absolutely wanted to do it when you asked me, but I've really learned to enjoy it even more. And these last 2 Wednesday nights have been my 2 favorite Wednesdays. One thing that I do with the kids, and I always tell them when they're good, I always say, well, I reported to Pastor. I said, I reported to Pastor Jason how good y'all were, and he's so proud that y'all were so good. And I'm telling you that right there alone, Jason, because I have reported. I'm not lying. I've reported to you how good they've been. They have been so good. We haven't had any of them out of line, and that's a good report from K through 5. They have all been very active, and I've learned to change things up, and I do a lot of fun things. But I thought of that phrase, Jesus is humble, and that's why I brought it up to Mac about how many humble people we have in this community. Mm-hmm. There's always, and we're called to be humble. Mm-hmm. It's Scripture that we are called to be humble, and we were studying about Jesus' baptism. Jesus didn't have to be baptized. He was sinless. He was perfect, but he did that as an act of obedience. he did that as part of God's plan, and he did that because he's humble. And remember when John said, I should be the one, you should be the one baptizing me.
Right.
But that always, and we see that again and again throughout the Bible, how humble Christ was, washing the disciples' feet and putting people first. And that's what we're called to do in life.
Right. Selfless service. That's what Jesus modeled, was a selfless servant to serve others. But there's so many examples throughout Scripture, but definitely it's carried out here in the community in so many different ways. People live out their Christian values, and Mac and that whole group is a great example of that.
It was fun. I like to do these object lessons. I've learned. I didn't know what an object lesson was before I started teaching kids. I had no idea what that even meant. And Deborah said, "We got to do some object lessons." And you told me you got to do some hands-on stuff. And so these last 2 weeks, I've done some pretty fun stuff. In fact, the week before, it was something about identity or unique. I think it was Jesus is unique.
Yeah, that's it.
And so I had this idea from Deborah. I said, hey, do we have any? And, of course, we have it. That's what I love about Deborah. If you ask for anything related to kids, we got it.
Yeah.
If you need to borrow anything, we're going to start a loan department here, $100 a month membership. We got you covered.
Yeah.
I said, do we have any ink pads for fingerprints? She goes, oh, yeah, we have a ton of them. Like, who would have that?
Yeah, right.
And she had them. And not only did she have them, she had every color of the rainbow you could imagine.
That's great.
So that first I didn't do it with the kindergartners but I did it with all the other kids. I said, I want y'all at the end. I said, I want y'all to just take your fingerprints and go crazy. Do one or two or do your whole head. Do whatever you want. And I described about how we're all unique and that Christ has made us all unique. And I said, go home and hang these fingerprints of yours on your refrigerator. And every time you walk by that's a reminder of how God has made you unique, because every fingerprint's unique. And that was fun. So we did that one. And one thing about, I was telling Molly this yesterday, they do downstairs, for those of you who don't know, you got to come to our Wednesday Night Live program. It's unbelievable for families, for kids. Even if you're single, maybe you're a young adult, or maybe you're an elder adult, maybe you're widowed. Come and be a part. There's so many opportunities for you to get involved. It's not just for children. But I like that we do the children downstairs. And the first time I was teaching class, I did not like that went over, because I'm like, oh, I never have time. Now I'm thankful that goes over.
Because the first group.
Because that first group are the kindergartners.
Oh, man. I'm right there with you.
And I'm like, I looked at my watch yesterday. Margaret, there's a sweet lady named Miss Margaret, and I've got Margaret really interacting with me now. She helps. We do a prayer, and then I want her to tell a story, so it's really neat having that interaction. But I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, well, it's 6:15, and they're not here yet. I was like, yes. So they finally come up yesterday about 6:22.
Hard to keep their attention.
Yeah, so the object lesson don't work with them sometimes, but it's good. Yesterday, and I pre-warned everybody on that floor, I said, you're going to hear a pop. The seriousness is we live in a culture where if you hear a pop, you got to be concerned. And so I told them, you're going to hear a pretty loud pop. That's not anything bad, because yesterday it was about being humble. And so my object lesson that I came up with, once again, Deborah to the rescue. I asked her yesterday, I said, Deborah, do we have balloons? We had little blow-uppers for balloons as well.
Awesome.
So my object lesson was, oh, man, you think you're all big and bad. Here's what some people are. They think they're mighty and tough, and they got this big house. Oh, look at my car. Look at my house. Look at me. Look at.
Yeah.
I'm, oh, man. And I went up, Margaret she was having fun with me, because I went up to her and I said, oh, Miss Margaret here one time helped me pay rent, but I didn't need you to help me with that, man. I could do it on my own. And, I was joking with her. And it was talking about not being humble, being full of pride. And I took those balloons and I said, and every time I do, look at my balloon, how big it's getting. And then all of a sudden, boom, and it blows up. And I said, that's good. I said, that's what will happen to you guys if you continue to. And then I had an empty cup. And I said, so many times we're taught that our cup needs to be full. And I said, that's not what God calls our cup to be, empty of ourselves and full of Him.
Right.
And then I took little pieces pretending, and I said, if I fill it with the goodness of God, now I can go up to you, Wesley, and I can say, hey, you're down today? How about a little bit of goodness? And it was and they connected with that.
Yeah, that's great.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was the balloon pop. It scared me the first time it did it, man.
Yeah, they're a fun group, and the good thing about it is, they all are interested in learning what you have to say. I love that.
I would have never thought that I I knew I was going to enjoy it, but not as much as I have. So thank you for that.
I'm glad you're doing it.
Well, hey, come and be a part of our Wednesday Night Live. We'd love to have you here at First. Every Wednesday, by the way, at 6 o'clock you can come. If you'd like a little light meal, you can come at 5:30, but come at 6. Bring the family. Come and be a part of it. We've seen that grow, and some great things are happening over here at First. Let's take a break. There's some news we can use. Fantasy is not going good.
I want to get an update on that, Rob.
Cowboys going okay.
Yeah.
I want to touch base with the Aggies. I heard some good news there.
Yeah. I got something that you're not going to want to miss after the break. Some food item has gone viral.
Yes.
And I got my hands on one this morning, so you're going to want to see that right after the break.
All right. Well, there you go. That's your teaser. We'll be back. Let us know what you're thankful for this morning as we continue on. It's Good Morning Huntsville here on a Thankful Thursday with Jason Bay and First Baptist Church. We'll be right back after this.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust. Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. Hey friends, this is Rob Hipp, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world. Let me introduce you to my good friend, Terry Coleman of the Coleman Realty Group.
With 33 years in the business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
It's a sound that you hear every Thursday morning. 8 to 9, sometime in between. It never gets old.
Debatable.
It's time. From Studio 1229J, high atop the hill, down from Sam Houston State University, and across the street from Bat Capital, USA.
True.
It's time for news you can use with Jason Bay. Take it away, brother.
All right, Rob, thanks for that great introduction. And we do have some news you can use. And as I teased before the break, we do have a new viral TikTok trend that's going on. Are you on TikTok, Rob?
I am. Our church is on TikTok,
Oh,
by the
really?
way. Yeah.
Really? Well, then you may have already heard. You may be way ahead of me on this because you're so plugged into TikTok. But this HEB 98-cent glazed croissant donut is a TikTok sensation. This comes from the Houston Chronicle. Selling out quickly at Texas stores. HEB's Bakery's glazed croissant donut is TikTok's latest viral food trend. But if you plan to try it, you may need to be up before dawn. The 98-cent donut has been selling out in minutes at HEB stores across Texas since it started trending on social media, with customers raving that it is one of the store's best pastries. Now, one TikTok creator named Noah, he responded on TikTok, "Why y'all eating all the croissant donuts? I'm angry," he wrote in all caps. When Noah visited an HEB last week hoping to buy the donut, he found an empty rack labeled glazed croissant donuts. His video has drawn more than 155,000 views. He posted another video a day later titled, "Happy Birthday to Me. I found the viral HEB glazed croissant donut." In a clip with more than 800,000 views, he waited outside an HEB at 5 a.m. after viewers told him the best time to go is when the store opens. This is the most big back thing I've ever done, y'all, Noah said. It's 5 a.m. We're looking for these croissant donuts. They told me I had to be here as soon as they open at 6 a.m. He spotted the donuts being prepared by an HEB bakery employee and bought a couple. He warmed them up and tried them, and he responded, OMG. His TikTok, the HEB TikTok account, responded to him saying, happy birthday. We hope you have the best day ever. All right. So this morning, I got up especially early, news, and I went by our local HEB store, and I picked you one up, Rob. Now, listen, he was right. I got there at 6:30 this morning, and there was only 4 left.
Are you so it's working here in Huntsville?
Yeah, it's here. It's here in Huntsville. Here it is, the croissant glazed donut. It's kind of smashed.
Wow.
Just go ahead and try. I bought me one too,
okay.
just to try here.
All right.
To get our response to this and see if it's really worth all the hype.
Hold on, let's full disclosure here. As soon as the bag opens, an aroma of goodness is pouring out of the bag. Look at this, Jason.
This looks like the real deal. And HEB is not a sponsor, but they could be.
They could. Here, everything's better.
Of Hello Huntsville, but here we go.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's basically like a donut that's been soaked in glaze.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
It's about 10 times as potent as a regular donut.
Yeah, it is potent. And I can understand why he warmed them up. It would be
even better.
Yeah, even better.
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Yeah, now we're going to have to take a nap because the sugar content in that probably will send us both into a
I have a full disclosure. I've never seen you eat. You're not a sweet eater.
Well, I'm doing it for the show. This is all for you, Rob.
Sacrifice for the show right here,
That's
Jason Bay.
Now, I may go into my blood sugar may jump to skyrocket. And
that was worth picking up, by the way.
6:30 this morning, I'm in there. Only 4 left. So, hey, I can see why they went viral, but, that's a pretty good little donut there.
That's not bad. That's better than a donut.
Yep.
Please don't buy those and bring them up here to the church because I've been trying to lose weight. All right. I know a lot of you like to bless us with food. Let's keep those at bay, please.
Yes. Okay. And just
thank you.
I want to give a couple other hit a couple other things. Just some headlines. Remember the fire that occurred out in California? Was that been like 9 months? And it's been known as the Palisades fire that destroyed numerous houses and a lot of movie stars' houses. Anyway, they've been doing a 9-month investigation into the blaze that killed 12 people, and the fire destroyed thousands of homes. And it appeared to have been a rekindling of an earlier New Year's Day fire. And after the investigation, they found that this man from Florida, Jonathan Rendenneck, 29 years old, is accused of starting the initial fire on New Year's Day that rekindled to become the Palisades fire days later. He was arrested Wednesday in Florida and was charged with destruction of property by means of fire, which carries a minimum of 5 years in federal prison.
You know what's weird about that? There was videos showing a power line that was flapping around that started those fires. That's what I thought started the fire. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah, I remember seeing that, but they said among the evidence was collected from his digital devices showing him doing this. So apparently they caught him, and after a 9-month investigation to what started that fire, it was intentionally started.
That always makes me nervous about when I go to a campground. I'll start a fire, and I'm really good about if I stay at a public park, I'll always put the fire out. You're told, of course. But it always leaves to question, what if there was that one ember and it was an accident? How much trouble would you be in if that came back to you?
Yep.
That's kind of scary to think about. It makes you want to rethink even. Now, this was intentional, but it makes you want to think about even starting a fire anywhere just in case,
Yeah, you never know. And today there was an article published about how dry it is in Texas now. We've had a little bit of rain here, but out west, it's really been dry, and the fire warnings have been going out because the wind is starting to pick up, and that's a very dangerous situation to be in.
One of the things I miss about my old property in Georgetown, we always had fires in the backyard, and big ones. And I learned very quick, and I can't show these pictures here to share the screen of my phone. But I would always have fires. That was one of my favorite things to do.
It is nice to be outside and around a campfire. It's just something special about that.
Well, I made a mistake and decided that one time I was going to throw a Christmas tree in there. Now, my old property, we had oak trees everywhere. Those oak trees, actually, where I moved my fire pit, they actually kind of were really high. So I thought, they're not high enough that anything would ever happen. Not for a Christmas tree that had been since March.
Caught the tree on fire?
The Christmas tree I put in, the problem with the Christmas trees is those things, the juice in those things, the gas in those things is unbelievable.
The sap and stuff.
The flames went, and this thing had been sitting since March. I mean, it was ready. We're talking, if it had been around since Christmas to March. You following me?
Dried out. Dried pine.
I just took one little lighter to it. Poof. It caught that tree on. Thank goodness I had the water hose, because that would have caught the whole neighborhood on fire, man. But I miss those. We used to do that. And funny story about that, Jason, just one quick comment on the fire thing. We used to always have, I lived on about 1.5 acres of property. It was a really unique property because it was, or 3/4 of an acre is what we lived on. But it was a unique property because it was on a cul-de-sac. The guy behind us had 14 acres. And there was a lot of woods everywhere. It was a really, I missed that lot, missed that property. The only problem was it flooded. We were in a 100-year floodplain. Unfortunately, our house flooded from that back in 2011. But what was neat, we'd always have these fires back there, and the neighbors would come over, and we'd always have little get-togethers. That was like a weekend thing. We started doing that every weekend, and kids would come over, and we'd do s'mores and a whole nine. Well, one day we're out there burning. I guess some new people had moved in, and we were not loud at all. These were those kind of neighbors that were like, "Oh, we don't want any fire," and so through the brush, 2 Williamson County Sheriff's officers. It's like they like Field of Dreams. They emerge out of the brush, and they said, "Well, we heard that there's some yelling and screaming going on. Are y'all okay?" I was like, first of all, where did y'all come from? Because they literally emerged from the brush, and we said, "Yes, sir, everything's fine." And he goes, "Well, I think he," and the sheriff was the sheriff, whoever, that was with them from the sheriff's department, really nice guys. And he said, "Well, we think it's just some neighbor that's just upset about the fire, to be honest." And he goes, "But y'all need to put it out." And I said, "Well, what do we need to put it out for?" "Well, Williamson County has a law that after 7 o'clock you got to put the fire out."
What?
And I said, "I've never heard of that law." He goes, "Well, you can keep a fire going, you just can't put any new kindling in it." And I was this was little punk Rob back in the day, Jason, that you didn't know. So I had an old sawhorse that I was burning in the middle of that. And I said, "Okay." And I said, "No kindling in the fire?" He goes, "Yeah, you can't have kindling in the fire after 7 o'clock. It sounded bogus to me, right? If it was some blue law that was never enforced or something.
Yeah, really.
So I said, "Okay." And I took a shovel and I picked up the burning. I picked up the entire burning sawhorse and I put it to the side. and I said, "Will that work?" He goes, "Well, it's not kindling anymore." And then they said, "Just don't cause any trouble." And they left. Anyways.
That's a good fire story. Yeah, fires are in context, contained are nice to have. This story that I want to bring to your attention comes from the Washington Post. There's been a lot of federal cuts lately, and our government is currently shut down. And the PBS has been somewhat of a casualty of a lot of the cuts that have gone on public television. So they're doing something unique to try to raise money. They're selling Bob Ross's artwork in a auction that's going to be starting next month, and the net proceeds will benefit stations threatened by reduction in federal funding. Now, I'll just show you. Here's one picture of Bob Ross. You remember Bob Ross?
He has a little happy little sunshine, little happy tree.
So most of his paintings, think about this. You watched him paint these paintings over the course of the TV show. Now, what was the TV show, like 30 minutes? Mm-hmm. So first you start with a blank canvas, and then over the course of 30 minutes, he would paint this painting. So what do you think the average Bob Ross painting sells for that he painted on television?
He did tons of episodes.
Tons of them.
Maybe $2,500 a painting.
$30,000 to $50,000 they're estimated at
per painting.
Per painting, yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Goodness.
Did you ever watch Bob Ross?
Yeah, I used to watch him all the time growing up.
My grandmother loved Bob Ross. We would watch him every day paint something, and it was very soothing to watch him paint something. Very, very gifted and entertaining. I mean, everybody, I don't think anybody had any bad feelings towards Bob Ross, but $30,000 to $50,000.
403 episodes.
403 episodes. That's a lot of money. They're only going to sell about 30 of them.
You know, after Bob Ross, to be honest, after Bob Ross and after Mr. Rogers, I never watched PBS anymore.
Yeah.
And even the new Sesame Street's not the same.
Yeah, it has gone down. They have some good documentaries that's been published through there that you can watch on wars or different, wars that have gone through. But yeah, a lot of it's very political in nature.
I have a trivia for you real quick.
All right.
You just name what this is. You ready?
I know it, but I can't put my finger on
National Geographic.
National Geographic. That's right. All right, just a couple of more stories I want to get. Chick-fil-A, this is from Inc. magazine. Chick-fil-A just got some very good news, and the irony, they said, is delicious. Now, they have this company, it's called In Touch Insights Annual Study. What they do is they get customer service on people that have been sitting in the drive-through line, what they feel like after they've exited the drive-through line. And the Chick-fil-A received a 98% customer satisfaction score. Now, what's interesting about this is that they have usually Chick-fil-A is one of the stores that has longer drive-through lines if you go through.
But they're fast.
That's what they said. They've made it, they've put it into an art. They've actually done drone film studies to analyze how the drive-through works. They've done surveillance video analyzing using the same software that professional sports teams rely on to study game film, to study how the drive-through and how to make the drive-through lines most efficient. And they use, in some cities, 4 lanes to bring in their drive-through customers. What's interesting, they said in this article, is that the Chick-fil-A, when they did the study, the Chick-fil-A actually has the longest drive-through wait times in the study, averaging 7 minutes. Taco Bell, by comparison, clocked in at just over 4 minutes, but yet still Chick-fil-A won on the customer service after they exited the line. There was a 98% approval rating. It just goes to show you what a difference positive customer service makes. The people that come to they think, like a lot of these other fast food chains think, well, maybe to improve our ranking, our score, to draw more customers in, we have to be fast. Well, nice. Chick-fil-A, yes, on the other side of the coin, they're not fast when it comes to developing a system that will generate food out in 4 minutes. No, theirs is the longest of the studies that they had done, 7 minutes. Wow. Yet they received the highest scores because of the courtesy to the customer and also the efficiency, even though there's a lot more people at Chick-fil-A than there is at Taco Bell, but the efficiency in which they move through the line.
There is some science to that for sure, because I go to Burger King here and it's usually a long wait. But that lady that's usually there is so friendly. All the ladies. We have the most friendliest fast food workers in Huntsville. Mm-hmm. Those ladies at Burger King are always so friendly. And then especially at McDonald's, everyone there is always extremely friendly. That's why when I get bummed out when I go back home, I'm like, man, I miss that customer service at the McDonald's in Huntsville, because they're always so nice. And I don't care if I have to wait 10 minutes, because I know that when I get to that window, they're going to be, how you doing today, sir? Oh, well, have a blessed day. I mean, just those little comments go a long way.
Yes, definitely. All right, one last story I want to hit for those that travel a lot, which is not me.
Yeah, same.
But there may be many people out there that travel or may have a vacation upcoming. But there's a new luggage scam targeting checked bags, and Travel Leisure magazine highlights this scam that's going on. What people are doing is they are stealing your luggage tags. They're stealing the tags off of your luggage that whether it's on the circular thing or whether you leave an unattended luggage, they're stealing those tags. And here's what they're doing with those tags. They're filing fraudulent claims about lost luggage so that they can recoup the money from their supposed lost luggage. They're taking your tag and they're making fraudulent claims against them that luggage was lost so that they can recoup the money off of the lost luggage.
Wow.
When the luggage really isn't lost at all. So they say be really aware of your luggage and your luggage tags at the airport or wherever you're going on a trip.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just some news you can use there, and I know that you will be willing to use it. I wanted to hit one other thing. This was a list that was compiled by one magazine, and I thought of you when I read the article. The title of the article is "Nurses Revealed the Rudest Things Patients Have Said to Them, and They're Truly Appalling." Now,
I'll have to ask Bridget this tonight.
Yeah. So these are just some of the things that people have said to nurses. But I think when you go into the hospital for whatever reason you have to go, you're automatically kind of on edge. Mm-hmm. You're not feeling good. But these people that work in the health industry, especially the nurses, this is what they do on a daily basis. We need to make sure that we are exceptionally humble and kind to these servants. It really is a ministry in which they're performing. Mm-hmm. But here's some of the things that people have said. I thought some of these are pretty harsh. You're just a nurse.
Ooh.
You do this for the money. Well, everyone works for money. However, that doesn't mean people with higher-paying jobs, especially those in the medical field, aren't compassionate to other people. Why didn't you become a doctor? When will the real doctor come in?
Wow.
I don't want a male nurse. You only work 3 days a week? That must be nice. I could never do your job. Those are just some of the ones that were mentioned.
Don't start me on that 3 day a week because my poor wife works her tail off. Then those 3 days that she has to work, it's not scheduled 12 hours. It ends up being 14 hours, and that poor thing is drained when she comes home.
Yeah.
And then she's got to deal with me and then the children. It's not easy.
Oh, I know. I think that's one of the most needed, especially with the American population growing older. It's one of the most needed career fields that we have is nurses, not just nurses in hospitals, but nurses in retirement centers, nurses in rehab centers, nurses in, wherever there are. Because our population is growing older, there's a constant need for that field of nurses. And I think it is a very difficult job. They work extremely long hours, and they deal with a lot of cranky people. It's so important that we treat them with kindness and compassion and understand that they are trying to do their job and show them a little grace.
Yeah, I agree. Do that today. That's how we're going to lift you up and encourage you. Show some grace and kindness. Because I have heard some stories, and my mom was a nurse, and she brought home a lot of stories and somehow stayed through it.
It can really affect your outlook when someone is just so rude, and makes little comments. It can really affect your mood, and you can take that home.
My arrogance in fantasy football switching gears has completely got me. At one point, Mike Drop TDs was the Weekend Warriors champion 3 years ago or 2 years ago. 1 year ago, Mike Drop TDs finished number 2 in the league, and I said I'm unstoppable. I was not humble at all. My balloon was puffed up.
See there? I mean, here we are. Rob came into this year. We were going to walk through this fantasy football league with him each and every week. And we were going to live vicariously through Rob because we don't do fantasy football. And now you've busted a balloon.
I am now 407 points only. We're in week 6. I'm now 2-3 on a 3-game losing streak. C.D. Lamb is injured. My whole thing is completely crashed.
See, you titled your team Mike Drop TDs, and that's like a mic that you speak in that you drop. But your team thought it was a guy named Mike that's dropping TDs.
Yeah. There ain't no dropping TDs.
He is dropping the TD passes.
Yes.
It's a receiver named Mike, and he can't make a completion.
Yeah. Well, I'm done. In fact, I've got other people in the league that feel sorry for me. They're like, here, do you want to make this trade to help you out?
Yeah.
And no, that's fine. And it's my fault because I was calling a game for New Waverly, and that was the night of our draft. And I remember telling myself,
auto draft.
I did an auto draft and just got hit with the worst of the worst.
Wow.
And but that's okay. You know why?
No, we're going to make a comeback.
Well, you got to humble yourself.
Everybody makes a comeback. Everybody loves a good underdog story. And now we're gonna see that turnaround because it's not going to be long, and CD is going to be back in, and we'll see a great turnaround.
Now, Jason, I wanted to mention your team.
Yes.
Well,
don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Our team is doing fairly well right
Both.
now.
Yes.
We're on the up.
We're seeing the Cowboys have a resurgence. I'm excited about that. But more importantly, the Aggies are 5-0.
How about that?
Yeah, that is truly a miracle. Yes, thank you. But we're gonna. There's not a lot that we do as a family. We have such busy schedules and things get going. But one of the things that since 3 of our kids are at A&M, we decided that we were going to get season tickets to the Aggie games. And so every Saturday for the last few weeks, we've been over there with the kids, and we have a great time going over there, walking to the games with them, seeing all that. This week is pretty much one of the last ones because they go on like a month-long out-of-town games. But this week, 6 o'clock on Saturday at Kyle Field, the Aggies will be taking on the Florida Gators. And this game is going to be a big game. I think Florida is going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, they just beat Texas.
They beat Texas. Texas, by the way, plays OU this week. So it's a big Red River rivalry will be taking place this week. So that'll be a fun game to watch. But 6 o'clock on Saturday, we'll be rooting for the Aggies to go 6-0 on the season. You know, they're 5-0 now. That's the first time that they've been 5-0 since 2016. So this is quite a turning of the page for the Aggies, and it's exciting to watch, and it's a lot of fun. I'm hoping that they do something really special this year. My oldest son, he's a senior at A&M, so this will be the last year getting to sit in the student section and see the games, and so I'm really hoping that they do something special this year. But we'll see.
I'm looking forward to a nice little skid for UT. Another loss. OU will defeat UT. You've heard it first here. I'm not a UT fan. Craig Way is a good mentor and a friend of mine, the voice of the Longhorns, but I am not a UT fan. I've never been, only in very certain circumstances. Number 1, Baylor. Number 2, A&M. That's always been my order. So I am hoping for an OU smackdown at the Red River. There's a reason they call it the Red River rivalry, not the they need to rename. If UT really wanted that, it would be called the Burnt Orange River up there in North Texas. It will be an OU victory. You heard it first. That is my hot take here on Good Morning Huntsville. Archie Manning is not what they have made him out to be.
Yeah, I
kind of
feel sorry for him. There was so much pressure on the young kid. I can't imagine what the pressure that he's having to live up to in that environment and that situation. And then now they're really starting to see a lot of bad press in the Austin area regarding Arch, and I really feel for him because he didn't ask for the last name of Manning. But
I'm not hating on the old Arch, but here's the deal. Just for me being being in that area, I never was a fan. For some reason, I was always a Baylor fan and an A&M fan.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that the Texas Longhorns have been the most overrated college football team for decades. In fact, when they beat USC, that should have never happened. Vince Young's knee was down. I was the only person rooting for Matt Leinart and USC in that game. Vince Young's knee was down. They did not have replay. They did not do replays in that year. They weren't doing the replay reviews yet. Vince Young's knee was down when he lateraled the ball that eventually would be the game-winning touchdown to set up UT for the national championship. They have not won. They have not won in a long time. That's my story.
Yes, and I'm surprised you're not a big University of Texas fan because that is the big area, that region up there. I was 35 corridor really is all University of Texas fans. But when I was living up in Waco, pastoring a church up there, we had a lot of Baylor fans. But even there was a huge conglomeration of University of Texas fans there. I happened to pastor there whenever I was an Aggie coming into Baylor territory, and Texas A&M came to Baylor, and Baylor beat Texas A&M that year for the first time in a long, long time. And they tore down the goalpost, and they took him down, and everybody at the church was giving me a hard time. But I love Baylor, too. I think they're a great school, and I root for them whenever they're not playing the Aggies.
It has been a dream of mine, and y'all pray about this, and we'll wrap up with this. It's been a dream of mine to have RG3 on this show.
Yeah.
I've reached out to his talent agency to see what that would take. Obviously, no money going his way if we could get it. Maybe $100 if they would take $100.
Oh, money wouldn't be
easy
an object because he's got plenty of money.
Yeah. So, but I want this because this show is all about faith and uplifting. And if you don't follow RG3 on social media, do it. He is an outstanding Christian man. He gives credit to the Lord every single day. He was in a very serious accident just a week ago up in Fort Worth with his family. And by the grace of God, his family did not get injured. He posted pictures of that. And the number one thing that he said immediately was he gave God credit for that and saying and being humble. Not only was he okay, but he also said that these other people were okay as well. He is a tremendous man of the Lord. And I do, every once in a while, he and I cross paths on social media, and he's actually reshared and liked some of my stuff. And so there's this minute little tiny connection there that one day the Robert Griffin III will be on this show to give us some inspiration. That is my dream, to have RG3 come on remotely and be a part of our show.
I'm looking forward to that day, Rob. I really am. He is a great guy from everything that I've heard. Next week, when I'm on your show, Rob, there's one thing I want to discuss with you when we have the time to discuss it. Because like I said, I've been going to these games, and you've gone to a lot of games throughout your lifetime. And there's some things that as I've gone into the stadium and I've sat down in my assigned seat that concerned me about stadium etiquette. I want to talk about stadium etiquette because I've seen some things that have, kind of like, what's going on here? And I would like to bring those up and get the professional's opinion on what is stadium etiquette, and these days we definitely need some guidance. If you follow anything on social media of any sort, you see all sorts of crazy things happening in the stands. But I've experienced some of those crazy things myself, and I want to share those next week.
It's coming up next week, Stadium Etiquette with Jason Bay. Before we go, Pastor, we've awesome series kicked off last week about Anxious for Nothing.
Yes.
Maybe let the folks out there know. We'd love to have you. We talk every Thursday. If you've heard us and you keep hearing us saying, come and be a part on Sunday. But let us know about this new series.
And God is really growing our church. I'm so thankful to what the Lord is doing. And Rob, just to shout out, I attribute a lot of this to the power of the Holy Spirit working through you and this program. We've gotten the word out about our church and what God is doing here. And every week we have a substantial number of guests come and a substantial number that get plugged in. And we're really excited about what God has done in the past year. And I would encourage anybody that wants to get the word out about your organization or your business to get in touch with Rob, because it really this show has really made an impact on our church and the work that Rob does behind the scenes. Not just this show, but the way that he is able to promote things. But yes, Anxious for Nothing is a series we started on dealing with anxiety, depression, and discouragement. Most people, when they read the Bible or think of the Bible, they just think of rules and regulations that God has sent down. And that really is an illustration of our biblical illiteracy, the fact that we haven't read the Bible. But you know, the Bible's full of characters in the Bible that have dealt with all sorts of things. The beauty of the Bible is it doesn't just talk about the people's strengths, it talks an awful lot about their weaknesses. It doesn't color code things in rose-colored glasses to make you see these characters as and only their positive attributes. I mean, think about it. If you were writing a story on someone that you knew or loved, or even yourself, a lot of times there's certain parts of our life that we would just choose to leave out. But the beauty of the Bible is it shares all these dark valleys that some of these men and women walked through in their understanding of who God was in their life. And the issues that we deal as a culture, you know, I read a statistic that 50% of people will deal with some sort of mental health issue in their lifetime. Half of the people will deal with some issues of depression, anxiety, worry, and stress that come upon them at some point in their lifetime, and will seek medical attention for these medical health issues. But what I want to stress to you is a lot of these, some of these are chemical imbalances, we know that, but a lot of these are spiritual issues that are dealing with us at our core. And as you look at the Bible, you'll see that you're not alone. There's a lot of people that have dealt with this. Last week we looked at David. This week we're looking at Jeremiah. And if you don't know the story of Jeremiah, you need to hear the story of Jeremiah, because it is a powerful study. He was known as the weeping prophet because this man was broken. He was a servant of God, but he was broken. And God used him to spread the word, a hard word that he had to tell the people. And we see how he dealt with these issues of severe depression. You can look at it, and you see that he's dealing with these issues and how he dealt with these things through the power of God. And we want to share this with everybody out there. Maybe you're dealing with a time of discouragement, or somebody in your family is dealing with depression or issues associated with the depression or anxiety. These groups of messages straight from the Scripture will give you encouragement on how to deal with these things from a spiritual perspective. So come and be a part.
Come, we'd love to have you. And 10:45 is what we say, and come and be a part. It's extraordinary to see what the Lord is doing. And so many times, you know, in our jobs, we get wrapped up in the work at hand, but truthfully here, we're getting wrapped up in what the Lord is doing.
Amen.
And so come and be a part of it. And remember, keep your cup empty of yourself and fill it with the goodness of God.
Praise the Lord.
And watch what he can do. So, well, hey, that'll wrap it up. We'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week. Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Huge shout out again to our friends from RITA B HUFF for hanging out with us, and we're so excited about their events coming up. And make sure to follow us on our social media feeds at Hello Huntsville TX. Our new app is on the way. I've been working on that off and on for quite some time. When I have time, usually in the evenings, I get a little bit more done. But that has been a fun project from the ground up, and so hopefully we'll have that launched here in the next month or so. And also I want to encourage you, you know, we have invited some people, and I haven't made it extremely public, but we have a family here at Hello Huntsville. And if you would like to come and learn, and you feel in your heart that you want to support and be a part of what we're doing with Spirit Radio, we would love to have you come. I still have a few seats remaining for October the 16th at 6 p.m., so come and be a part. Let me know that you'd like to do that. I'll send you the RSVP link. Many of you have replied that I've reached out to and said they're not able to make it, but many have said we're going to be there. I've still got about 3 or 4 seats remaining. I would love for you to come. Many of you have a heart for this program, but you also have a heart for what the Lord is doing through our radio ministry. If you'd like to come and learn more about how you can support that and be a big part of what we think is going to be something amazing for this community, for God's glory, come and be a part. Send me a message, comment on this broadcast, October the 16th at 6 p.m. I'll send you the details. If you can come and be a part, we'd love to have you. So that'll wrap it up. Again, Billy tomorrow, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. And as I end every broadcast reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there this morning needs you. Until then, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We will see you back 7:30, maybe on the dot, depending on Braylon. Just kidding. Daddy will get up earlier. Set the alarm. I'm never going to blame Is it okay to blame your children once in a while, Jason?
I think people are understanding. Anybody that's had children before is understanding.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you back then, 7:30. God bless you. See you, Jason.
Have a good one.